please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, Donald John Trump, do solemnly swear.
I, Donald John Trump, do solemnly swear.
That I will faithfully execute.
That I will faithfully execute.
The office of President of the United States.
The office of President of the United States.
We have been given a gift by God today to usher in a new dynasty.
Now you get RFK Jr.
Don't you want a president who's going to make America healthy again?
You get Tulsi Gabbard.
Putting our country in a continual state of war.
You get Elon Musk and you get J.D. Vance.
A hell of a way to start the next 4 years.
The right-wing Avengers.
We have an army of digital soldiers.
Department of Defense under Donald Trump will achieve peace through strength.
Shut down the FBI Hoover building on day one.
The rescission of 78 Biden-era executive actions, executive orders, presidential memoranda, and others.
The golden age of America has most definitely begun.
Begin preparing the 30,000-person migrant facility at Guantanamo Bay.
They're getting the dirtbags off these streets.
There's one guy who can fix this shit, and it's Donald Trump.
What's storm, Mr. President?
You'll find out.
Manufactured outrage, televised crimes, false flags waving in your feed while they harvest your DNA and need influence maps and behavioral loops, digital temples and mind control troops, fear on tap, dopamine drip, truth gets censored, lies get equipped, they don't conquer lands, they conquer thought, train the psyche before the shot, you don't feel the blade when it's made of code, you just slow silent phones, but something ancient just woke inside. A warrior spirit they couldn't divide. From the streets to the service to the halls of law, from the drama loops to the culture war. We map the lies, we trace the flow, follow the money, crack the code. They thought the masses would stay asleep, but the watchers learned how to read between, and every truth they tried to bury deep just grew roots in the underground beat. We're the guardians of the static fame, truth carriers in a synthetic game. From psyop lies to genetic genes, we're tearing down the narrative plane. Yeah, synthetic culture built on fear, but the guardians are fine. Here we rise from the signal, we break the cord. Guardians, guardians of. So when the towers fall in your mind and you finally see the design, remember, they never owned your name. You were born with fire in your veins. We're not waiting for saviors and more. We are the guardians of the storm. Guardians of the storm.
Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are in the world. My name is Josh. Welcome to the Red Pill Project's Daily Dose, live with you Monday through Friday. Hope everyone had a fantastic 4th of July weekend. Oh my God, it was freaking amazing. I rode out to New York with my family. Saw my family out there. It was a great time. A really nice Airbnb on 3 acres of land out in the country, and it was nice and quiet. Didn't even watch any fireworks. I watched them on TV. Watched them around the country. I watched them in DC. It was fantastic. Had a few drinks and watched Trump talk, and I watched the fireworks. It was freaking amazing. So we'll talk a little bit about that here in a little while. Everything that kind of happened over this last weekend. But I hope everybody had a great 4th of July, man. It was phenomenal. And now we start the 363-day journey of the 250th birthday of the United States of America, because it's not just one day, guys. It's not just July 4th and that's it. No. You got to remember, this is a revolutionary year, a revolutionary time frame. You know, you could even state that for the next 8 years, this is the Second American Revolution, where we take back our country, powers return back to the people. So amazing time to be alive. And that there was a song called Guardians of the Storm. And that is one of the debut songs on the next album that we are putting out. So that will be coming out this week. I got out of focus, lagging. What? Hold on a second. People are like, out of focus, you're lagging. Josh, let me see here. Let me go into here. Yeah, out of focus and lagging. So I think that is not me. Hold on. I got to figure this out, because right when I try to turn everything off and go back in, it was really bad. Let me do something real quick, and I'll be right back, because I know how to fix this. See if this works. Let me do a real quick test here, because I think it might be my internet, but we'll see. We'll see on that here in a second. But I want to see if this fixes it real quick. Nope, it did not fix it. Okay. It's not my internet. My internet's pretty good. It's YouTube. Rumble is good. No, I'm on Rumble. Rumble's better now. Rumble's better now. Okay. So I think that we fixed it. But if you guys still have lag, let me know. Random sound skips. Much better. Okay. So everybody's saying much better now. Yeah. Who knows? 5.5. Okay, we're good. All right. Thank you. I'm glad you guys can read me loud and clear. 5.5. Okay. So I don't remember where I was. Oh, I was going to get into kind of announcements. So travel wise, here's something that I don't know if you guys knew. We have a camping trip coming up at the end of the month. So it is July 24th to July 26th. It's the annual Red Pill Project camping trip. Hopefully you guys can make it. You're like, okay, where do I get information for this? You can go on redpills.tv, redpills.tv, or if you're on Social Red Pill, you can go into Social Red Pill under the Events tab on the main feed, and you can find it there. But our annual camping trip, July 24th to 26th, this is on the Forest property in Eureka, Missouri. So hopefully we will see you all over there. It's going to be one heck of a blast. Someone's saying fuzzy again, lagging again. So it's got to be restreamed because it is absolutely not me. So give me a second. Let me see if we can fix this. If it's me, which I don't think it is, but let me finish this real quick. So anybody who wants to sign up, just RSVP. That's all we ask for you to do over there. RSVP over on redpills.tv or on Social Red Pill. RVs, tents, campers, all of that stuff is welcome. There is electric hookups. You can read all about it on redpills.tv. Another one, potentially. People are saying I'm fine on Rumble. Well, must be just a tube. But this month, the 17th to the 20th, I'm going to be in Colorado. So any of my Colorado friends out there who's listening here, I will be in Colorado, July 17th to July 19th, 20th. Within that, I am working with Badlands Media to do an event on the 18th. So we are looking to do a Badlands Media meetup group on July 18th, which is a Saturday. I don't know the location. I don't know where it's going to be yet. We just started discussing it today because I'm going to be in town. I'm like, hey, I'd love to do an event and speak to some people. So that is in the works. If we don't do it with Badlands, I want to know how many people from the Red Pill Project would be interested. Now, I don't have a poll or anything like that I can throw up there, but if I see a whole bunch of people in the chat, so for my mods out there, if you can tell me how many people in the chats were saying thumbs up, they can be there. They'd be interested in the Colorado area. So this would be Denver Springs, Fort Collins area. So if you guys are interested in that, let me know or send me a message. I could absolutely do something on the 18th that we're looking to do in Colorado. As well is I think we're going to do in the camping trip something a little different this year. Not Josh singing karaoke, if anybody remembers that from last year. But we are potentially going to do a live stream from the event. I got to get all my stuff ducks in a row. Yes, so Rotten Dog, it's in Colorado. Yep. That is on the 17th, or sorry, the 18th. And then the 24th to the 26th, I will be in Missouri. And we're looking to do on that Saturday to do a live stream and kind of I'll have a stage and just kind of go up and talk. So yeah, so that's what I have coming up this month. Next month is pretty clear, and then September I'm back traveling again. Looks like we're going to be heading over to Florida. Pretty sure it's Florida. It's Florida or Vegas. I don't know, but it's Florida or Vegas. But anyways, all right, guys, you are here for the news. You are here for your daily dose. That song that you just heard right there, yeah, that's coming out this week. There's some other good ones. I'll be playing them throughout the week, so hopefully you guys can catch them at the beginning of the show. I might play another one at the end of the show. We will see. But Donald Trump, this week, I love it. He said, it's just like those Patriots of 1776 over the past 17 months. We have taken power back from the far-off political class. We have reclaimed our sovereignty, regained our liberty, restored our prosperity, and we have saved our country. In all things, we are once again putting a thing called America first. We are getting a lot of different comms that are coming from Trump, the Trump administration, and people surrounding Donald Trump. A lot of this will be talked about tomorrow night. Sorry, there's no There was no Q after hours last night. I know it's been a few weeks. I was traveling. I thought Alpha was doing a show, but I guess not. But anyways, tomorrow, DEF CON. Yep. So St. Peter's is where we will be. But Donald Trump this weekend, they were going to do the fireworks show in DC, and Trump was going to come out and speak. And their communist fucking mayor came out and canceled everything, told everybody to go home. So people left. Donald Trump comes out and says, what? Storms bring luck to whatever the occasion. They also make events a little bit more exciting. We will wait it out. I don't care if it's 2 o'clock in the morning or in 1 hour from now. Looks like it's going to pass like they always do. I will be there no matter what, but the what usually turns out to be a good thing. It's Saturday night. Let's have some fun, even if we are out late tonight. They say 11 o'clock for the speech. Who cares? Remember 2 weeks ago when the big UFC event was 100% chance of heavy rain all week long, and just minutes before the card started? Well, there wasn't a single drop, and the fights turned out to be among the greatest in history. An event for the ages. Our great veterans, especially the old timers, many of whom are here, went through hellfire, and it didn't stop them. It's not going to stop us either. I'm not going to let some rain stop our 250th. I'm leaving the White House soon. God bless America. So they ended up basically overruling the mayor of DC and had a spectacular event. Trump was on stage, I think, for well over an hour. It was pretty fantastic. Now, the day of July 4th, Donald Trump put out this video, and it's where he's talking to Usha Vance, the second lady, and they're in the, I believe the, I want to say the presidential library. It's not the presidential library, but they're in, it's got to be the Oval Office. They're in the Oval Office, and they got a whole bunch of books next to them. And Donald Trump starts talking about this book. Now, let me make sure that this tab is unmuted. Yep. Tab.
President Trump, thank you so much for inviting us into your office today.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, Usha.
Would you mind telling the kids who are watching a little bit about this office and what makes it so special?
It's the Oval Office. It was built around 1900. It's a spectacular place. It's the most powerful piece of real estate probably in the world. Everything starts here, ends here, starts again. And we've used it well. And your husband's been a great vice president. I have to.
Okay. So Trump goes on and he starts talking about this book, President's Play, which was produced by people at the White House specifically for this day. Now, they go on to talk about all different types of presidents. Trump even makes fun of Barack Obama, saying he's really not that good at basketball. But at about 8:58, we will put it right about here. Let's listen to this.
President under which we had the Great Depression. And here's a great picture. Many presidents, it says, like Donald Trump, invite winning teams to the White House. We've had them all, which is right.
If you didn't know, that's from his first term. That's the University of Alabama, of which they gifted him a jersey with the number 17 on it. But what did he say? We have lots of winning teams in the White House.
Here. And it's true. Winning teams. We have all the Super Bowl teams.
Now, what's interesting about this image, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, less than 10, 17 winning teams in the White House. Now, a little while later, towards the end, he says,
one way or another, you understand that, but we're going to make it go the other. And we're going to make America greater than ever before. But the 4th of July is a fantastic day. It's a day of celebration. It's a very important day for this country and the life of the country.
And it's a 250th year anniversary on top of everything, which is just wonderful, isn't it?
That's right. We're going to have a good time. And what we really are doing,
So I obviously skipped over that part, but towards the end. I want to.
And then in closing, when they aren't playing sports, presidents have fun watching them too, just like you did. See, this is the Super Bowl, and his president is watching football together. Now, maybe I should invite Barack Hussein Obama, Joe Biden, with the Bushes, or Bush. Maybe I should invite some of those people to watch a football game together. Wouldn't that be a nice story? The press would go wild.
Maybe I should invite those other presidents over to watch a football game together.
President reunion.
What does he say
That
about
would be
the
fun.
end?
So here's a book, and they've really done a great job. Publication, White House Historical Association.
Mm-hmm. They do a lovely job.
What a job they did. Here's another picture. That's the presidents and some children watching a football game.
If you understand symbolism, okay, go back to this part right here. Only winning teams in the White House. Trump invited the winning team, football team, in. Then he goes on to say, maybe I should invite Barack Hussein Obama, Joe Biden, the Bushes into the White House to watch a football game. And then what does he have at the end? Children and him watching a football game. My interpretation of this is that the game is about to begin. The signal Q17, the game is about to begin. And we are about to watch a fantastic match. But he said only the winning teams are in the White House. I don't know. It's kind of crazy, but I think people are beginning to see this. There was also something else. Elon this week. Now, I know a lot of people were trying to decode this video posted by Elon, right? So the first thing I will say about this video posted by Elon is that Elon didn't make the video. The video was made by Heavy Pulp, which is actually an Anon. So Heavy Pulp, who made the video, is an Anon. So just keep that in mind, that there's tons of different Q references all throughout this video. And the reason being is because an Anon made the video. Elon just reposted it. If you haven't seen the video, I don't think there's anything in there that's going to get censored. So we'll go ahead and play it. I'm going to go ahead and play this video. This is the video that Elon reposted.
Sweet land, sweet land of the weary and the wild. Oh, where are you, my sweet The garden's either dying or about
if you can hear this from the other side. Across this great quantum divide. Don't get me wrong. Now is the time to stay strong. So, with all of that, I'll say, God bless the USA! God bless the USA! Sing it, sweet land, going on. 250 years and it's going on and on the edge of a forever or the edge of being gone. Is it midnight? Is it morning? Is it ruining? Is it time to rise? 250 summers gone by. So just go on and tell me those sweet lies, the kind as sweet as these July. Going on and going gone. Light up, light, higher. Sweet land's going on, going on. Sweet land, going, gone. So please, just know that we can still rebuild. We can still make something.
Okay. If you watch that video and you're like, what the fuck did I just watch? That's what I said like the first 3 times I watched it. And Elon Musk posted that. Now, a Taylor Swift rendition called Sweet Land, of which she transitions into Marilyn Monroe. But if you notice about the song, is it's back and forth. It's like, are we winning or are we losing? I don't know. Is it the awakening or is this a knife in the back? So great video. And I love how they presented it. And it was done by an Anon. So hat tip over there to Heavy Pulp. But here's my thing. It got a lot of attention because of Elon. Well, then Elon posted it a second time. I don't think people realize Elon posted this 2 times. So last edited 8:36 a.m. right there. Or sorry, that was me. So he posted it at 6:59, 5:59 Central, 6:59 Eastern, right? So 6:59 a.m. the next day, he posted the video again. Said, why would Elon post this video a second time? Timestamps, 6:59 a.m. Q 6:59. Think about this. I want you to think about this because this was on July 4th at 6:59 a.m. Effective this was July 5th at 6:59 a.m. So the day after July 4th, after Donald Trump gave his speech, all of this. Effective yesterday, while standing under the Statue of Freedom, POTUS freed those good people who are currently being blackmailed, threatened, and enslaved. Those who were chanting USA were freed. The shot heard around the world. We the people. Freedom Day. Light. Think about this for a second. That is a massive comm directly from Elon. And what was Trump standing? What was the Statue of Freedom? The Washington Monument, lit up with freedom. The stage was right in front of this. You had the whole crowd chanting USA, USA. People were like, you're being psyoped. No, we're not being psyoped. As I go through this show, I hope that people who are listening who think that this is a big rug pull, that think that, Trump is evil in one of them and that nothing's going to happen. I hope you listen to what I'm saying because we've been calling this for a very, very long time, and we've been pretty damn accurate. Now, by the way, that video had something in there known as the red folder. Do you know where people throughout the community heard about the red folder first? I was the first damn one to mention the red folder. What we called it? We called it the red binder, the red folder. Been saying it since January 2020. I was the one who talked about it on X Spaces, talking about the red folder. What's in the red folder? Why did the deep state want the red folder? So this is what I take from this. Elon putting some comms out there. He's trying to tell you that the revolution has begun. We have already won. That it's beginning. Trump through his comms. We have the 17Q team in the White House. Things are moving forth. We're about to play a game. You remember the comms from last week? Remember the Yes, community. Comms from last week. Shall we play a game once more? It is game on. So what does game on mean? It means that we are about to see some shit hit the proverbial fan. I believe we're going to have the summer as we kind of described it. We will start seeing Democrats, Republicans resigning from office, not seeking re-election, being removed from scandals. Shit, we had one today. We have a judge order, Judge Emmett Smith, talking about the immediate release of the Epstein files by the DOJ. They can't block it this time. We said that this would come in the summer. We have U.S. Attorney Joe Genova coming out here, and he's going to hopefully put out some indictments. We're going to have a little bit of news on that coming out here in a little bit. But let's talk about America's 250th birthday for a second. This celebration is not a one-day event, as I've said. We will celebrate this over the course of the next 365 days. This is a revolutionary mindset, and that's what everybody needs to remember. 250 years ago, a group of people chose an uncertain future over the certainty of submission. They argued, disagreed, compromised, sacrificed, and ultimately declared that legitimate government derives its power from the consent of the governed. The idea has influenced not only one nation, but much of the modern world. The United States has never been a finished project. Its history contains extraordinary achievements alongside profound failures. It has expanded freedom in many ways while continually wrestling with how to live up to its own founding ideals. That ongoing effort is part of what has made the America experiment enduring. Every generation inherits both the blessings and the responsibilities of liberty. The freedoms to speak, worship, assemble, create, question, and vote are strengthened when people engage with one another in good faith, even when they disagree. A healthy democracy depends not on unanimous opinions, but on shared commitment to peaceful debate, the rule of law, and the respect for one another's humanity. Technology is changing the world at remarkable speed. Artificial intelligence, biotechnology, and other advances will present opportunities as well as difficult choices. The values that guide those choices will matter as much as the technologies themselves. Curiosity, integrity, compassion, and accountability remain timeless strengths. The next chapter of America's story will not be written by institutions alone. It'll be written by parents raising children, teachers inspiring students, entrepreneurs building new ideas, scientists making discoveries, artists creating meaning, public servants accepting responsibility, service members defending the nation, and neighbors helping one another through ordinary acts of kindness. On the 250th year birthday of the United States of America, many Americans celebrate not only the nation's accomplishments, but its capacity to learn, improve, and renew itself. The ideals expressed in 1776 remain aspirations that each generation is invited to strengthen. Civilizations are not remembered because they are wealthy. They are remembered because of what they choose to preserve. Preserve truth when it is inconvenient. Preserve liberty when it is costly. Preserve knowledge when it is unpopular. Preserve compassion when the world grows cynical. Preserve the courage to question and the humility to listen. Every generation believes it stands at the edge of history. Few realize they are also standing at the beginning of someone else's future. 250 years from now, people may never know your name, but they will live with the consequences of the choices you make today. So build things that last. Teach what is true. Leave your children stronger than you found the world. Disagree without hatred. Seek understanding before certainty. Remember that the greatest strength of a free people is not that they think alike. It is that they can live together while thinking differently. America's greatest resource has never been its land, its wealth, or its military. It has always been its people. And happy birthday, America. So we are in this revolutionary time. We are in a point in history where 250 years from now, people will look back and they will thank us for doing what we did. Hopefully. Fucking hopefully. I truly believe we are in a revolution. I don't know if all of you guys understand that. I truly believe we are in a revolution. I truly believe that we are taking back the power. I think that the biggest problem is that the American people don't know what that power is. The American people have been so devoid of power over their government that they have no clue what the hell that even means. I think that the Trump administration during the first administration realized that the American people had no idea what power they actually held. I think that a lot of what we saw from 2020 to current day was to revitalize, rekindle the American spirit within the American citizenry, to remind them of the power that they have, the voice that they have, that when they are united in numbers, when they remove the aspect of disagreement and come forth with the common good of the people, they can move mountains, that Congress and Senate will listen to their constituents when their constituents rise up and demand it, that the president of the United States, he might publicly say, no, not happen, disagree with you. But when the masses of the people rise up to the tops of the buildings, they can't say no. That is the power that we have. We are the fourth branch of government. We compete in that fourth branch of government with corporations, special and private interests, foreign interest, which have billions of dollars to spend to influence our politicians. I don't think that we're ever going to remove money from Washington, D.C. But the one thing that we can do, and damn right we will do it, is take the power back from Washington, D.C. That is what I believe. That is why I am here. I am here to ensure that my children have a better future than the life I've had. I'm here to ensure that this country does not fall to socialism and communism, that the economy doesn't collapse into a black hole void and globalism fill that vacuum. I'm here to ensure that Chinese soldiers don't invade our country. I'm here to ensure that the psychological warfare and information warfare operations that have been perpetuated on humanity and the American citizenry for the last 20, 30, 40 years fucking stop. And they stop through the guise, not of the perpetrators stopping what they're doing, but they stop because people realize and understand how the game works, how the system works, that people can recognize a psychological warfare operation when they see it, that people understand that the information domain is the primary domain of warfare, and it is always being weaponized, that people go out there and they start reading the news and they know immediately that news is biased, that news is trying to sway their opinion in one direction or another. That's why I'm here. I am here to remind people, to wake people up, to show people what the fuck is really going on in this world. And I love how there's people out here in the chat right now. They're like, one person like, Josh is full of shit. Fuck you. If you think I'm full of shit, why are you subscribed and why are you listening? I get other people out there. Oh, Josh, you are so wrong. Tell me what I'm wrong about. I will debate anybody on all the things that I've talked about. Because at the end of the day, I'm not here to be right. I am here to save this country. I am here to help wake up as many people as humanly possible to help save this country and eventually this world from the undertaking of very, very dark forces who seek to fucking enslave you, through technology, artificial intelligence, through a nanny surveillance state, through the biomedical revolution. If we are not awake and aware to what's merging in the world of technology, if we're not awake and aware to the innovations that are being made, if we're not paying attention to the new bills Congress is passing, if we're not paying attention to these corporations and companies that are rising up and all their different partnerships with China and globalist organizations, then we're fucked. I'm here for that. So Barb said, "Jay, Josh, the website won't let me join the Red Pillars subscription. It keeps streaming when I click on it." So number one is there's no way to join a subscribe on the Red Pill website. So you can't subscribe on the website itself. You can go, if you're in the premium tab, you can go to any of those websites, YouTube, Substack, socialredpill.com, Locals, or X, and you have to subscribe there. Trump has issued a warning to Americans. The Republican Party will never win in other elections if the Democrats regain power. This is something that I talked about. If the Democrats somehow pull off a fucking miracle in the midterm elections, we are moving into a civil war. I know that sounds pretty crude and pretty deterministic, but yeah, that's the truth, because it just shows that they have other methodologies of how they can steal elections. Now, what safeguards do we have in place for that? Well, I think that there are some things coming down the pipe. So, special Russiagate prosecutor Joe Genova, his team has uncovered significant new evidence, including a massive FBI document spanning several hundred pages that reportedly exposes new malfeasance in the Bureau's probe of Trump's alleged ties to Russia, codenamed Crossfire Hurricane, was begun before the 2016 elections. Now based in Fort Pierce, Florida, de Genova traveled to D.C. last month to meet with both acting director Todd Blanche and FBI Director Kash Patel to discuss newly discovered internal FBI documents and map out new investigative leads, as well as the new overall case strategy. In other words, the grand jury in Fort Pierce, Florida, is about to freaking take heads. It is coming. Joe DeGeneva and his team have completely revamped this investigation. Instead of one big RICO grand conspiracy, they broke this down in the various different subsections. My thoughts on this? Pre-2016 information op with FISA. That was one part. 2016 intelligence community assessment, ICA. That is part 2. Part 3, Russia conspiracy theory, Crossfire Hurricane, Crossfire Razor, moving into Mueller investigation. That is 3. Part 4 goes into 2018, Russia, Ukraine. That goes into that. This is what I think they did, is broke that down into that. And then we know that same grand jury is one of the ones that have been looking into the 2020 election fraud. This is where it gets really, really important, because the idea here is that all of this is integrated together. That if everything that happened from 2016 to 2024 is all one grand big fucking conspiracy. And we know it is. This is what we talked about for a very long time. So in understanding that, how does Joe DeGeneva put all of this together into one big RICO case? Well, he goes out there and he indicts people based on singular cases that are separate from the large RICO investigation. And then that comes together through other grand juries in one big grand indictment, I believe, later on down the road. But this is going to start happening here over July and August. I believe August is the time frame that you'll start seeing indictments coming in all of this. So something very, very interesting happened. FBI infiltrated Gavin Newsom's inner circle. Longtime Dem insider Alexis Podesta was secretly wearing a wire as far back as June 2024 during the probe in the Newsom's ex-chief of staff, Dana Williamson, who just pleaded guilty to fraud and tax charges. Podesta recorded conversations explaining why dozens of Sacramento insiders and lobbyists got a surprise FBI letter about intercepted calls, even if they barely knew Williamson. Newsom and his wife are now under a broader federal investigation. This is very, very real. Gavin Newsom was under investigation through the California Bureau. Now this has expanded into the Federal Bureau of Investigation, a federal investigation into Gavin Newsom. What? Misappropriation of funds. You got to remember, Gavin Newsom's wife had a nonprofit that was directly connected with a for-profit organization. Gavin Newsom funded California schools with billions of dollars. Over, I think it was like $12 million of that money that Gavin Newsom funded it directly by signing it were funded into his wife's nonprofit, of which she then hired her for-profit organization and paid the for-profit organization. That is money laundering, okay? That is illegal, and that's a federal crime. So we are about to see that come down the pipe. We know that there's federal investigations right now in the Tim Waltz and Keith Ellison here in Minnesota. We've had multiple criminal referrals sent to the DOJ pertaining to Tim Waltz and Keith Ellison. Next up will be Pritzker and then Hochul, maybe even Whitmer. I think we're going to start seeing heads roll here over the course of the next 2 to 3 months. Donald Trump today. Let's listen to this. And I don't know, maybe it's only when I play something that my video gets all messed up. Let's listen to this.
And so hot and so great and such a great friend of, I don't say conservative, I say of common sense. He's not conservative or liberal or, as they say now, progressive. Liberal became so tarnished, but now it's communist. You know, they say social democrats. No, social democrat is a communist, all right, just so you know. There's no, so if you look at the people that are running, it's crazy what they're doing. But we'll never let that happen to this country. It can't happen to the country. You can't, there's no appetite for it, especially since we've literally, now you're going to see numbers coming out over the next 6 months, I think, that nobody will have ever seen before. But she's a fantastic person, and she's a woman.
So Donald Trump, right there, reiterating, this country will never be communist. It's not going to happen. Not on his watch, not on anybody's watch. Why does Donald Trump keep seeding the narrative about communists and socialists? That they're not really socialists, they're not Democrat socialists, they are communists. Why does he keep seeding that narrative? This is where, well, I think that this is where it starts to get really interesting. The Hill appeared to publish premature article titled "Do Not Use," a look back at Mitch McConnell's time in the Senate. Mitch McConnell, we know, suffered a health occurrence over this last weekend. Bannon reporting online speculation is growing over Mitch McConnell's medical emergency. Elaine Chow's reported to travel to China and what it could mean for his Senate seat. Elaine Chao, Mitch McConnell's wife, you know, Cocaine Mitch, the Chow family, massive within the shipping and logistics world. Elaine Chow's sister, 4 years ago, died in Texas in a freak car accident. But massive ties to the CCP, the Chinese Communist Party. And then you go to Dianne Feinstein's driver for 30 years was a Chinese communist. The deputy, deputy governor of New York was a Chinese spy. We have multiple different Chinese spy rings that have been uncovered, multiple different Chinese biolabs that have been uncovered in the United States of America. You have Swalwell and Fang Fang. They've been taken down. So you're starting to see that these politicians with connections to China, the Communist Party, are being taken out. Gavin Newsom. Gavin Newsom is Nancy Pelosi's nephew. Massive ties to the CCP in China. So why is Donald Trump indicating or seeding the narrative with the Chinese Communist Party or with communists in general? Because the next point that is going to be stressed, we got Joe DeGeneva over in Florida. This is FISAgate. This is Russia. Boom, right there. You have DNI Pulte. Over the DNI, been silent the last few days. Who's he working with? He's working with John Solomon on a task force to declassify information to get that to Joe DeGeneva over in Florida to get it to other grand juries. You got Devin Nunes working on a National Security Council working group. Will Bill Pulte declassify evidence pertaining to the 2020 election and provide a report on election integrity and infrastructure to President Donald Trump of how the 2020 election was stolen, starting with their seizure of Dominion servers and voting machines in Puerto Rico in August of 2025 through DNI Gabbard, of which they found foreign intrusion within the networks of those voting machines. Will they provide the evidence found within Fulton County, Georgia, that showed foreign intrusion in our election software and within the coordination of mail-in ballots? I mean, I've laid this out for people before. People out there, Josh, the election wasn't stolen, man. How did they do that? I'll tell you how they fucking did that. This is how they did it. And see, when you start to look at and piece this conspiracy together, you have to look at the upper echelons beyond the political circus. And that's where the communist aspect begins to come into play. See, we tend to think communists are governments like the Chinese Communist Party or Mao or something like that. But no. See, communists learned a long time ago that they need to utilize all the branches of capitalism to obtain what they want ultimately. So you got to go back to 2016. Last year, DNI Tulsi Gabbard released a declassified email. The email was from a guy by the name of Leonardo Bernardo from the Open Society Foundation. Yes, that's George Soros's NGO. The letter was to another executive director over in Europe. And he was talking about how Julianne Smith, which was Hillary Clinton's foreign policy advisor on her campaign. Remember, this is June, July 2016. He was talking about who Julianne Smith had just got back to him and told him that HRC, Hillary Rodham Clinton, had confirmed that they were going to move ahead with the Russian propaganda on Donald Trump. And in the email, he states that, hey, we don't have the Russian propaganda, but we will get it. And we will get that through our partners over at Threat Connect and CrowdStrike. Now, what happens over the course of the next few days after this email is sent? Well, the very next day after the email was sent, Hillary Clinton's under investigation for her email crimes under the Obama DOJ, which was being led by Attorney General Loretta Lynch. The next day, Bill Clinton met with Loretta Lynch on the Arizona PHX Phoenix tarmac, and they discussed giving Loretta Lynch a seat on the Supreme Court if she dropped the charges against Hillary Clinton. Bill Clinton, because somehow there was a news crew there, came out and said, oh, we were just talking about grandchildren. You were not talking about grandchildren, Bill Clinton. Who was that person? That was Christopher Sine, who ended up dying in June of 2021, being hung by a doorknob through a dog leash. It's called the suicide. In his book Memoir, says that he was tipped off to be there at the tarmac by his special contact in Washington, D.C., who is very, very high in the intelligence community by the code name of S, Jeff Sessions, same alma mater, same fraternity, University of Alabama. Remember Trump's picture with the number 17 on it? University of Alabama, 17. Okay. Next, Hillary Clinton spends July 4th weekend with FBI Director James Comey. This is candidate Clinton, who is under investigation by the FBI, spending the weekend with James Comey. After that, she gets on Air Force One and goes to a campaign rally in North Carolina with Barack Obama on Air Force One. On August 4th of that year, Barack Obama holds a massive meeting in the White House. Joe Biden, Rod Rosenstein, McCabe, all of these, James Comey, they're all in there. Clapper, Brennan, they're all in there. And what do? They begin the process of Crossfire Hurricane. FISA investigations had already been opened. You know, a little tidbit that not many people know is that the investigation into Hillary Clinton's email was ended, I believe, on July 29th, 2016. The investigation in the Donald Trump Russia was started on August 4th, I believe. Now, what's interesting about that, and this is the part that's really interesting, is that it was the same FBI agent. The FBI agent investigating Hillary Clinton's emails was an FBI agent by the name of Peter Strzok. He dropped that case and started the investigation in the Russiagate. I don't know. It sounds like we got a conspiracy going here. So now you fast forward. You have FISA-gate come out. You have Devin Nunes goes out there, releases the Nunes memo. You have the Schiff memo. They do not correlate with each other. They're both on the Gang of 8. Devin Nunes has Kash Patel working for him as a staffer. They're the ones that uncovered all of this stuff of how they were spying on them. You have John Solomon in 2017 tipped off by 2 military intel guys to investigate FISA-gate, Crossfire Hurricane, Crossfire Razor, the abuses of the FISA court. Donald Trump is in presidency right now. You have the 3 military generals that walked into the White House right after the election day and told Barack Obama not to contest it, or they will utilize the military if they have to. So now you fast forward. What happens next? The Mueller investigation. So you have the Mueller investigation that comes about. What happens there? They indict 13 Russians over cyber crimes. What they didn't expect was for those 13 Russians to actually show up. They were part of the GOODBRU, and they actually showed up, and the judge threw out all the charges. None of them ever stuck. From there, you go to impeachment number 1. He's impeaching Congress, but cleared by the Senate. Same thing with impeachment number 2. But what was impeachment number 2 about? Impeachment number 2 was the perfect phone call with Zelensky. In that phone call, he said, hey, you got that server, Burisma, CrowdStrike. I'd like to have my DOJ take a look at it. Why is that so important? Go back to Lenny Bernardo's email talking about Julianne Smith and HRC to the other executive director in Europe. What did he say? We don't have the Russian compromise right now, but we will get it through Threat Connect and CrowdStrike. Burisma is really interesting. This is Eastern Ukraine, the Donbass region. This is the same company, Burisma, that was under investigation by Shokin in the Attorney General in the Yanovich and Poroshenko administrations in Ukraine had their special investigator, Shokin, who was investigating Burisma for crimes. Joe Biden withheld U.S. aid, $1 billion of U.S. aid, telling Poroshenko that, hey, if you do not remove this investigator, you're not getting this aid. That's called quid pro quo. At the same time, Hunter Biden was on the board of directors of Burisma. And at the same time, a server from CrowdStrike is in Burisma. Why? Because you have close geographic proximity to Russia, where if you wanted to spoof Russian servers, Russian IP addresses, you would want that server right there. In the 2016 ICA, Intelligence Community Assessment, Thomas Speciale, who is the intelligence community whistleblower on the 2016 ICA, came out and said, I was the one tasked in the intelligence community to go out each state and see if there was Russian intrusion in our voting machines. And he said there was none. He said we had Russian IPs pinging the voting machines, but there was no Russian intrusion. So up till 2018, 2019, the deep state was losing. Even though they were stopping Donald Trump at every corner, they were losing. So what did they have to do? They had to go out there and steal the midterm elections, the 2018 midterm elections. I remember this. You remember this. We all remember this. Who did they call up? They called up George Soros. They called up George Soros to unleash $1 billion in campaign financing to governors, secretary of states, and to attorney general's elections within these states. Nobody knew why. We thought it was just to unleash hell, to bring about a summer of love, but it wouldn't make sense until 2020. And yes, there was a blue wave in 2018. And in the midst of that blue wave, George Soros and Bill Gates and multiple other philanthropic-led NGOs invested billions of dollars of money into various different research of zoological viruses. Not only zoological viruses, but the testing capacity, how to test for zoological viruses, which at that time, 2018, 2019, there was no zoological virus that could be communicated to a human being. There was zero, none, zilch, nada. There was not one virus out there, zoological virus, like a coronavirus, that a human being could catch. But they invested billions of dollars in investment capital for various different testing methodologies of zoological viruses. This came in a consortium that Bill Gates and George Soros created that eventually acquired a company by the name of Mologic, which held the patent for that type of technology. That came in early 2020. 2020 comes around and you get COVID. How does COVID come about? Very weirdly, right? In September 19th of 2019, a Russian level 4 biolab right there by eastern Ukraine burns down. That's odd. The day later is when the Trump administration, with Anthony Fauci present there, Dr. Bricks, signs an executive order authorizing the creation of mRNA vaccine technology. So up to that point, it was not allowed. It was more of gain of function. October 21st, 2019, you have the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, the World Health Organization, you have the Wellcome Leap Foundation and Johns Hopkins University doing a national pandemic exercise. What was the interesting threat that they were practicing? Oh, of a novel coronavirus, a zoological virus that spreads through a Brazilian wet market, spreads rapidly throughout the world, of where global governments have to lock down the world and create a mRNA vaccine to help everybody, to stop it from spreading. Not even a month and a half later, the first cases of coronavirus leaked from a Chinese level 4 biocontainment lab known as Wuhan Institute of Virology gets released onto the world. Now, Wuhan Institute of Virology, that's very interesting because if you go back to 2014, Barack Obama banned all of gain of function research in the United States of America. So you can't do this military style research to take, I don't know, novel coronaviruses or zoological viruses and make them receptive to humanity. But Anthony Fauci over at NIAID, over through NIH and NIAID, funded the team out of Chapel Hill, North Carolina. Peter Daszak, Eco Health Alliance, Ralph Barrick, funded them to continue their work in China at the Wuhan Institute of Virology. He funded them. Well, yeah. And then, we know Fauci lied about all this, but either way, it's released accidentally, of course, from the Wuhan Institute of Virology and spreads across the world. But it doesn't have the impact that they thought it would. None of it did. Not the vaccine, not the virus. Didn't have it. Don't get me wrong, millions died, but it didn't have the impact that they thought it would. Either way, what begins to happen in 2020? States, led by the Secretary of State, who runs state-based elections, begin to change the rules because you can't have people out there voting and standing in line next to each other with this rampant pandemic going on. We need to change the rules about mail-in ballots. Now, everybody, it's like Oprah. Everybody can do mail-in ballots. You get a mail-in ballot. You get a mail-in ballot. You get a mail-in ballot. And it was the Secretary of State that George Soros, 2 years prior, funded their elections and got them elected that went and changed the state laws. Then the attorney generals approved it. The governor said, okay, great. The same ones that George Soros got in the power. A year after the elections, the majority of those states' Supreme Courts said that change that the Secretary of State made and the Attorney General approved was unconstitutional because they don't have the right to change the laws. But since the election already happened, we'll just let it go. So, explaining all that, Do you think that that was an ongoing criminal conspiracy to cover up their crimes and regain power, to get Joe Biden into the White House so they'd have some resemblance of power that they could start to rebuild and restructure, open up the U.S. southern border and allow an inflow of over 23 million people into the United States of America, including gang members, cartel members, Chinese military-aged males, various different terrorist organizations, including Hezbollah Unit 910, Al-Qaeda, ISIS, which we know all came over the southern border, crash the United States economy, raise inflation to all-time highs. That was the Biden administration. That was planned. What they didn't plan for was their shot heard around the world missing. That's what they didn't plan for. They didn't plan on 2 millimeters. See, they had everything set up for the next occurrence. If you didn't know this, July of 2024, right before Butler, we were on the show. We were talking about it. And we said, hey, Joe Biden is going to drop out of the race. The Democrats, Obama, everybody, they don't want him to endorse anybody. They want an open election at the DNC. So they want an open, basically, primary at the DNC to where Joe Biden steps down and they can go into the DNC. They can rig it and get Hillary and Gavin Newsom to run, or Hillary and Michelle Obama to run. That's what they wanted. Joe was all good with that until Butler. Once Butler happened, that was done. Donald Trump, and we know this because RFK Jr., his son, leaked a video online. RFK Jr. had a videographer. He was taking videos of him. Trump called RFK Jr. The videographer kept on filming. RFK Jr.'s son posted it on RFK's social media. Sure. And what was it? It was a conversation with President Trump. And President Trump says, you wouldn't believe this. Joe Biden called me up. Joe Biden was the first person to call me. We were talking like we were just two friends in school. Really? Right after Butler? And I said, there it is. The next day, July 16th, I said, there it is. Joe Biden made a deal. You remember the letter? You remember Joe Biden was left a letter by Donald Trump that he put in his desk, and he says, oh, it was a very generous offer. Joe Biden called the number on that letter. Joe Biden talked to Donald Trump and said, we're going to take a deal. Do not indict our family when you get elected, because they knew the shot had failed. And because the shot had failed, that their whole plan was done, because Donald Trump was going to lawfully win that election in 2024. And he did. And what happened? How did Joe play his part? Joe Biden came out and he endorsed Kamala Harris. The one candidate that Barack Obama, Hillary Clinton, Nancy Pelosi, that no fucking Democrat wanted on that ticket was Kamala Harris. And Joe came out and endorsed Kamala Harris. That was absolute betrayal to the Democrats. And that was Joe Biden aligning with Donald Trump and saying, I'm going to do you a favor. And we've been talking about this for years. So for all those naysayers out there like, oh, Josh is full of shit, I don't even think you could probably repeat a smidgen of what I just talked about. And it was all true. Graham Planter. Oh, look at this. He's been hit with credible allegations of sexual assault and rape per Political. Trump said he's worse than any human being who's ever run for office. And all of a sudden, Planter has information coming out that he apparently raped a woman one night in 2021 while deeply intoxicated. And what is happening right now? He is pulling out of the Senate race. All of his endorsements are being pulled. The Democrat Party just pulled funding from Graham Planter, told him to drop out of the U.S. Senate race in Maine after major rape allegations. This is actually pretty huge. Maine is a very critical election that we need to win out of there. And then you get the House of Stones over there. Josh Reed is full of shit. Whatever, dude. We'll just, there you go. See you, dude. So, interestingly enough, we're going to transition. We're going to transition in this conversation. So, but I want to talk about that for a second. Graham Planter, another one. There you go. You're going to see multiple other Democrats, congressmen and senators, over the course of the next few months, over the course of the next year, not seek re-election, resign, or have scandals brought out against them. It's coming. The objective right now is to drain the swamp, is to clean up Washington, D.C. and get the filth out. You're seeing Donald Trump actually lead the way to do this through the Senate. You have Cassidy, Tillis. Thune is probably going to be on the hench board here really soon. But honestly, I don't think so. My theory about John Thune, why John Thune will not bring the Save America Act to a vote. Can anybody guess why John Thune is not bringing the Save America Act to a vote? Because Trump told him not to. Trump doesn't want the Save America Act to pass. If you want the Save America Act to pass right now, you don't understand how all of this works in Washington, D.C. Immediately when Trump signs that law in the power, people like Mark Elias are going to come out there and they're going to immediately put injunctions through the court on it, halting it so it cannot be implemented by the 2026 midterm elections. Not only that, is the states won't abide by it. There's only one way to do that. And the only way to get that next part is going back to that idea of communism. Right? That's how we started that long conversation of communism. 16-year plan, Barack Obama, Hillary Clinton, FISA-gate, Russia, right? The only way to get a national emergency on election integrity and infrastructure is you have to show that the 2020 election was stolen and that foreign actors were involved. Now, how do we know foreign actors were involved in the 2020 election? Well, we got an interesting little hat tip last week when Neville Roy Singham, tech billionaire, lives in Shanghai, very happy with the CCP, who funded the No Kings protests, who funded BLM and Antifa along with George Soros, and multiple other. You have Weiss, you have Soros, you have Gates, you have all of these billionaires using their philanthropies to fund various things. But these are connections to foreign funding that then goes into Democrat candidates. Remember Act Blue? How Act Blue did it? They used various different shell companies would spoof all of their donors' informations and credit card numbers through those shell companies. They would have a billionaire through a philanthropy give money to that private shell company, and then they would go out there and fund these Democrat coffers. That money was coming from China. That money was coming from foreign adversaries who took part in stealing the 2020 election, which means that the communists have built an infrastructure in NGOs. The communists right now exist within the NGO infrastructure. And guess what? U.S. NGOs hold about $14.7 trillion worth of assets. By the way, that's all taxpayer money that's been paid to them over the course of the last 40 years. Sounds like you need Executive Order 13848 to come in so you can seize all those assets once you can show that the majority of those NGOs, Tides Foundation, Forge Foundation, Open Societies Foundation, were involved in election fraud and with helping foreign adversaries steal a U.S. presidential election like they did in 2020. Now, in order for that to happen, DNI Pulte has to come out with a report, and then we are going to see criminal referrals be sent to the DOJ. These criminal referrals are going to be follow the money. Following the money is going to pertain directly to these NGOs moving money, how various different countries, including China, funded these NGOs. They moved money through various different shell organizations to private organizations in the United States of America. They funded Democrat campaigns, but not only that, they funded the groundwork to register illegal aliens, other people who can't vote to vote. They funded massive ballot schemes and ballot harvesting plans throughout the United States of America, as well is that they funded the Summer of Love for George Floyd, the burning of U.S. cities, and every single protest that you can think of. coming to a theater near you. So, in order for Donald Trump to issue a national emergency on election integrity and infrastructure, DNI Pulte has to come out with a report. That report has to show clearly that foreign adversaries were involved either financially or physically in the stealing of the 2020 election. And not just a few driver's licenses and ballots here. A significant portion of the votes had to have been manipulated either through incursions into the voting machines or through the mail-in ballot schemes that were being orchestrated through NGO-funded organizations. So there you go. Foreign adversaries, NGOs, stolen election. Now the same NGOs directly tie back to Russiagate, Pfizergate, so forth. Put all that together, you have a grand criminal conspiracy. And then they are the communists. Why is Donald Trump laying the seeds for communists? That's why. I hope that makes sense. I'm going to go ahead and read this as a quick transition, and then we're going to move into the next part of the show. We hear a lot about crypto, but here's the part most people miss. Crypto was created so you could actually own and control your money. After the 2008 financial crisis, Bitcoin was designed as an alternative to banks. So instead of banks holding your money, delaying transfers, or limiting access, you are in control. And if you've ever had to wait for a transfer to clear, you felt that problem. Now, fast forward today, everyone's heard of crypto, but getting started still feels complicated. That's exactly why I use Rumble Wallet. Just used it today. It takes all that complexity and makes it simple. Choose what you want: Bitcoin, dollar-backed stablecoins, or even digital gold backed by real gold. No complicated setup. It connects with your MoonPay, so you can use your credit card, debit card, or bank and be up and running in minutes. Once you're set up, you can even support your favorite Rumble creators like me directly. So do this now. Scan that QR code and click the link in the description and download the Rumble Wallet. From there, you can set up your wallet, tap buy, and you're in the game. In just a few minutes, you can go from hearing about crypto to actually owning some. Now, I'm going to also tell you why that's so important. In about 6 minutes, I have to look at my tabs, 6 minutes, we're going to talk a little bit about crypto, about what Donald Trump said today. We're going to talk about the economy, what Donald Trump said today. We're going to talk about what's happening right now with the Trump administration and the moves they're making, something I've been telling you over the course of the last 17 months. It is time to get back into the game. But first, there's more. What the fuck is up with Dolly Parton? Did you see Dolly Parton out there flashing freaking Satan signs over to Kelsey and Taylor Swift? What the fuck is this? Is crazy. Like, I never knew about Dolly Parton. Listen to this.
Hey.
It's my tab's muted. I still have that problem with muting tabs. Okay, there we go.
When you have your firstborn, can I have it? Because that is going to...
Right. Look right here. Right there. See it? See it? 666. And she says what?
Your firstborn, can I have it?
She does the 666 and says, when you have your firstborn, can I have it? Guys, that's crazy. That's crazy because I don't think a lot of people understand about the firstborn conspiracy. Eric Clapton, firstborn kid, died. Robert Plant, Led Zeppelin, firstborn kid, died. John Travolta, firstborn kid, died. Many famous people give up their firstborn as a sacrifice for fame and fortune. Who do we need to take out? Give me the name of who needs to be taken out. I'll get rid of them. I don't think I have any mods on YouTube. So you guys are, for everybody on YouTube, I don't think I have mods. I am the mod on YouTube, so I'm sorry. Is there a problem? Because I can happily go in there and mod. I can happily go in there and be a mod. Masked Monster. Cool. Let me see if I can find them. I got to go into the live stream. I got to go into my fancy little area over here on YouTube. How the hell do I get in there? I don't know. Is that who it is, Mass Monster? Is he doing something wrong? Let me see. Let me see if I can find him. Can someone tag them for me? Because I'm not seeing anything from them. So whoever it is on YouTube that you guys want me to mod, go ahead and tag them, please, so I can ban them. Oh, the Lucius Trust. Oh, I saw someone out there say the Lucius Trust financially supports the World Economic Forum. Oh, yes, they do. Not only that, the Lucius Trust is very, very culty. Very, very interesting organization. If you don't know, the Lucius Trust was created by Alice Bailey and her husband. It was originally known as the Lucifer Trust. It'll eventually change its name. A lot of the Lucius Trust funded through the ThyssenKrupp family. And so if you don't know who that is, the Thyssen family were American capitalists, but also a German family that helped through, the First Union Bank helped to fund the Nazis during World War II. And they were big contributors to the Lucius Trust. So K Rhodes, K Rhodes, what's up, brother? What's going on? Why does everybody want you to be banned? I haven't seen him say anything wrong. Never watch and never trust cronies who control. Okay. Never trust a group of cronies who control you with a piece of paper. Bottom line, cut the blah, blah, blah. Okay. K Rhodes, I haven't seen you say anything wrong. I'm going to watch if Mr. Rhodes is being unruly, I will go ahead and mod him, but I don't see any reason to right now. Theosophists play into that. A lot of different things play into that, but sorry about the little delay there, guys. All right. So Democrats pulled funding for Grant. We have the weirdness of Dolly Parton and her satanic lineage. President Trump in a very, very important 3-minute speech. Yeah, so for anybody out there saying I didn't see what he said. Everything that I saw, I got water, source, and food. Okay, cool. I got to be a good referee, man. I'm not going to ban people just for speaking their mind. But if they're being an asshole, I get it. But listen to this. Great speech by Trump.
In 250 years, the free people of this land have accomplished more with our liberty than any other society has accomplished, even in thousands and thousands of years. As you look back and you study, what our critics will never understand is that America is not the sum of its mistakes. Our mistakes make us human. Our achievements make us American, and nobody has ever had the achievements that we've had. We are the nation that dreamed and created the modern world. We laid the railroads. We raised up those big, beautiful skyscrapers, harnessed electricity, and invented the light bulb, the telephone, the airplane, the assembly line, the television, the microchip, the personal computer, the internet, the GPS, the smartphone, and almost everything else that has ever been invented, including, especially over the last few days in certain areas, a thing called air conditioning. We invented it all. We charted the human genome to cure diseases. We powered entire cities by splitting single atoms and planted our flag on the moon. Americans fill the airwaves of the planet with our music and our culture. We invented baseball, basketball, football, volleyball, NASCAR, and the rodeo. We love that rodeo of the West. Americans have won the most Olympic medals of any country in the world by far, the most Nobel Prizes. Well, they haven't given me one. Settled 8 wars. I still haven't gotten it. That's okay. And the most world records. We publish by far the most patents. We produce the best movies. We make the best music. And we raise up the greatest entertainers and strongest athletes the world has ever seen. So true. We built the biggest and most dynamic economy. And by the way, our country today is doing better than it's ever done before. Never had anything like it. With, as of last week, $19.2 trillion pouring into the United States right now from all over the world. That's the investments being made, and the record was 3. 4 years, in 4 years, the last administration did much less than 1, and we did 19.2 in 12 months. And thanks to our great election win, November 5th, and the tariffs, plants and factories are being built all over the United States right now, and they're being built at a number that we've never, ever seen before. So much more. We're breaking records by double, triple, quadruple. We created the strongest and most powerful military. We won 2 world wars, the Cold War, and left America's enemies in the depths of history.
And at the end, he says, the best is yet to come. Now, why? Why did I play that? Trump today initiated a lot about the Trump accounts. So Trump accounts are now live and active. I just signed my kids up for Trump accounts. If you have kids in your house, 18 years of age and younger, go to the IRS, fill out your form, or to download the app and fill out the forms. Get your kids signed up for a Trump account. Okay? Do it. 2 million SpaceX shares are now being donated to the Trump accounts by the SpaceX president and COO, directly benefiting Americans' children and their future. Think about that. SpaceX just donated. How many other companies are going to donate to Trump accounts? What are Trump accounts going to be? What did they announce today? They said Trump accounts, they're soon going to open up the Trump accounts for all Americans. If you haven't figured it out, the Trump accounts are the registration accounts, the initial financing mechanism that are going to be utilized for you in the sovereign wealth fund. Trump accounts become the sovereign wealth fund. What was he talking about in that speech? $19.2 trillion of investment capital coming into the United States of America. What have we been talking about? You have SpaceX. You have all these different tech companies. 5% of open AI coming in, given to the federal government. What are they going to do with that? They're going to put it into the Trump accounts and distribute to the people in the Trump accounts. There's one under .gov, so there's trumpaccounts.gov where you can download an app, but you can also go to the IRS website. And I never thought I'd be showing an IRS page here, but okay. Let me pull it up for you. Let me go here. Trump accounts. So anybody wants to do it directly through the IRS, it's this IRS page right here. You just search Trump accounts on the IRS webpage. You just do a Google search. And right here, it'll say sign in and create, and tells you how it works. Sign in, elect, check status. And they'll send you an email. And within that email, you can then go download the app for Trump accounts. And by the way, I'm not getting anything from them. I'm not getting paid to put this out there. I just signed my kids up for it because, guys, they're going to put stock in there. People are going to donate. Corporations are going to donate, and it's going to go to your kids' accounts. Understand this. This is the beginning of the sovereign wealth fund and how this all works. Oil is now at a level that I think is even lower on a barrel basis than it was before this war started. He's right. It is. Prices are just now starting to reflect that. What else did President Trump say? He said this, because part of this conversation was about the strategic Bitcoin reserve.
But I will say this, to me, cryptos are very powerful. A lot of people are using it. Bitcoin, they're using it at levels that I don't think anybody understands really how powerful. And if we didn't do it, China would do it in a minute. But I will say this, to me, cryptos are very powerful. A lot of people are using it. Bitcoin, they're using it at levels that I don't think anybody understands really how powerful. And if we didn't,
I don't think anybody understands how powerful Bitcoin really is. Why is Bitcoin so powerful? The White House just confirmed the U.S. Strategic Bitcoin Reserve is being formally structured right now. The U.S. already holds 328,372 Bitcoin worth around $25 billion, making it the largest known government holder of Bitcoin in the world. That is 1.56% of the entire Bitcoin supply currently in circulation. Why does President Trump say nobody understands how powerful Bitcoin is? And then, a few hours after that, post images of his family and John G. Trump at MIT in front of a mysterious device, which is an electrostatic accelerator. So before you had these large particle accelerators, this is one of the accelerators that they utilize at MIT, known as a Van de Graaff electrostatic accelerator. Incredibly massive amounts of energy produced by them. Why does that matter? Because it brings about our understanding of nuclear and nuclear energy. So, why is Trump heading towards crypto and the Trump accounts? The Sovereign Wealth Fund and the Strategic Bitcoin Reserve are going to be the monetary future of this country. We've talked about this at length before. $19.1 trillion of investment capital is flowing into the United States of America over the course of the next 10 years. Okay? Each one of those companies, corporations, banks, and countries who are giving that money to the United States want a return on investment, at least a 3x, which means that when we start to look at GDP analytics, that 19 trillion is going to turn into about $190 trillion worth of GDP over the course of the next 10 years. That's jobs, that's manufacturing, that's facilities, that's innovation. Within that innovation, you have an energy revolution, micronuclear power, micronuclear reactors, fusion reactors. We have artificial intelligence. We have massive digital infrastructure that is being innovated and brought about. You have the Genesis mission within the Trump administration, 40,000 scientists working with AI for scientific innovation through the national laboratories. Trump is hinting that things are about to basically skyrocket economically. I know that a lot of talk about an AI bubble crashing and all of this stuff. I think that it will. But I think that this is going to come after something else occurs. See, once you start having a sovereign wealth fund and you have various different corporations stock in your portfolio as assets, and you have gold and you have silver, and then you have the lease rights to U.S. land, which pertains also to the mineral rights on that land, oil, gas, rare earth minerals and metals, and that's put in there. But once you start to have trillions of dollars of assets stack up within that sovereign wealth fund, and then base your monetary system, your dollar upon that, an appreciating asset, you change the dynamics of the global economic game. You do something that China, Russia, nobody else is fucking doing. This is what Scott Bessent and Donald Trump were about to do. Then what you have is you have an innovative nature of what's known as tokenization coming about. You're hearing all about it. Ethereum is right now ramping up massive changes, which, by the way, I'd buy some Ethereum. But so here, they're ramping up massive changes. Why? Because you're going to have tokenization that's going to come about on various different old chains. Solana, Sui, Ethereum, maybe XRP, but not as much as these other ones. Why does that matter? The tokenized framework is going to be basically installed as the new kind of intermediary for the same system that we were just talking about. But it brings about something of why Donald Trump is pushing it. I don't think Donald Trump is pushing blockchain and United States of America becoming the crypto capital of the world because crypto is the best shit since sliced bread. He's doing it because crypto has three fundamental foundational bases that brings it and makes it really important: data, computation, and energy. Those are the three things that make crypto crypto. It's what crypto does. Funny thing is they share that with artificial intelligence. Compute, data, and then energy. We just heard that the United States government intervened with an eminent domain clause and stated that these data centers are national security property. Why? because the same thing's going to happen with blockchain. Once you have blockchain that is doing the same thing, compute, data, and energy, this is going to be an ancillary backbone for the national security infrastructure of artificial intelligence. And that's the only way that we win the war against China. It's coming, people. So my thoughts, go take my crypto course, learn about crypto. You can find it on redpills.tv. Take my crypto course on crypto. You can find about it on redpills.tv. Or join my crypto mastermind. You can also find out about that over there, and get understanding why this is going to be a booming market in less than 12 months. China is a threat. The U.S. State Department has published a statement responding to yesterday's test launch of a nuclear-capable submarine launched intercontinental ballistic missiles towards the southern Pacific Ocean by China. The United States monitors China's test launch from a submarine of an unarmed intercontinental range ballistic missile, which landed in the southern Pacific Ocean at the time when the United States is working harder than ever to prevent nuclear proliferation. China is doing the opposite. That tells me that the United States is kind of scared about that launch, because it is one of the first direct actions that we've seen China take without warning in a very long time, which then makes the other part that we were just talking about even more important. Putin called Trump on July 4th and invited him to visit Russia. Imagine Trump going to Russia. I think it's going to happen. I think Trump is going to Russia. I think it's going to happen. So, what are we talking about here? We're talking about the Great Awakening, people. We are talking about a revolution in how the world operates and works. A completely new understanding on the economic model. No longer central banks and fractional reserve banking. Instead, currencies that are operated based upon of appreciating assets. That is what we are moving to. That is what's going to happen. Over the course of the next 20 years, technological innovation is going to skyrocket exponentially to the extremes that you've never seen before. Technology today will be obsolete within 20 years, and we will take a 500-year leap before you even know it. And what is that 500-year leap of technological innovation going to do to our society? It is going to transform it. It is going to make a lot of people incredibly wealthy, including you, if you understand all the signals that are being said on this podcast and through the Trump administration, because it's open for anybody to invest in it. It's right there in front of you. Trump accounts, get your kids in on it. They're not lying when they say $1,000 invested today is going to be worth millions in 20 years. All right, guys, that's all I have for you tonight. There's a little bit of other news, but we can go over that tomorrow. Trump is such a nutsucker. Nah, I don't think he's a nutsucker. I think that you're just, that Katie Rhodes, people can't see the chat, but I'm watching the chat over here. The K Rhodes dude, this is one of those people that just hates the world. The world's all one big conspiracy, and it's all evil, and it's all fucked up, and it's never going to be right because it's never going to be the way they want it. That no matter what, who's in power, or if people say that the good guys are winning, they're always the bad guy. That everything is always wrong, everything is always evil, that nobody can ever do any fucking good in the world. I can't stand pessimistic assholes like that. But I'm not going to censor him. That's what I'm going to say. I'm not going to censor him. Why? Because he hasn't said anything too offending. But he is out there just being an asshole and saying nonsense. But it's because he hates the world. He hates the world probably because he doesn't like himself very much. And you know what, Rhodes? K. Rhodes? I hope you learn to love yourself. And maybe you can see the world a little bit differently. Much love, respect, guys. God bless. Take care. Have a great night. We're going to see you guys tomorrow night. Good night.
There was a time when our children stood tall, hand on their hearts, one voice for all. There was a time when honor had weight, when the flag was a symbol, not a debate. There was a time when our history those who bled for the lives they gave. Now the homeland burns in silent war. Truth is twisted, we can't ignore. Through the smoke, a voice still calls. We the people will not fall. There was a time, but the time isn't near. The great awakening is here. Dark to light, veil under. Patriots rise, we are one. Land of the free, home of the brave. No more silence, no more slaves. Answer the call, take back the fight. Children of freedom, stand for the light. There was a time when truth was clear, when the media served, not ruled by fear. There was a time when leaders stood fast, guarding the people, defending the past. Now corruption wears a crown, lies are fed to tear us down. But Q said watch, and Q said see. The silent war will set us free. From the front lines, soldiers stare, wondering if we're still there. Their blood, their hope, their sacrifice will not be sold for a life's prize. There was a time, but the time isn't near. The great awakening is here. Dark to light, the veil undone. Patriots rise, we are one. Land of the free, home of the brave. No more silence, no more slaves. Answer the call, take back the fight. Children of freedom, stand for the light.
Freedom is never more than one generation away from extinction. It must be fought for, protected, and handed on. Or we will spend our sunset years telling our children what it was once like in the United States where men were free.
There was a time, the time is near. The great awakening is here. Dark to light, veil undone. Patriots rise, we are one. Land of the free, home of the brave. No more silence, no more slaves. Answer the call, take back the fight. Children of freedom, stand for the light. There was a time. There was a time. Now is the time. Do it.
I don't have to tell you things are bad. Everybody knows things are bad. The air is unfit to breathe, and our food is unfit to eat. I don't know what to do about the depression and the inflation. I want you to get mad.
I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass. And I'm all out of bubblegum.
People should not be afraid of their governments. Governments should be afraid of their people.
The more you fuck around, the more you're going to find out.
These people are still a part of that system, and that makes them our enemy.
We accept the reality of the world with which we're presented. It's as simple as that.
I want you to get up right now and go to the window, open it, and stick your head out and yell, "I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not going to take this anymore!"